you've shared your dreams and your visions with us. This is, I think, what you've been waiting for since when you applied last August. You sent in your application last August. We came, we did a screening visit, and I think this is what you've been waiting for. This is it. But I'm not going to say this is the end because, as you'll see in our presentation, this is really only the beginning.
The river guard takes care of the litter and the brush by the water. And besides, we know the best fishing spots.
A new city hall really helped us to define downtown Melrose. We're really proud that we got it built.
This underpass lets us connect the town to the park and river. People can enjoy both now.
Part of what the design team did was do a survey and got citizens excited about what the community has to offer. Really, it excited the community and gave them a vision for the future ahead.
They told us to open up our downtown and give it some visual effect. And as long as we knew we were taking those buildings out, what are you going to do to that corner? Make it something attractive so it welcomes people into your community, and that got us to thinking about that. To look at the back alley of our main street, which does face the river, open that up, clean it up. Those are some of the things that we're looking at, trying to work on right now. Taking some of the older buildings down by the river and looking at them for some different uses. We did develop a park board from that meeting, which is very, very active. We've done some neighborhood parks, the park on the corner, the loose line trail parks that we're working on right now. I think the biggest thing that came out of this was to look at our loose line trail and our river and use that as an economic and recreational focal point, and we've been trying, and that's taken us a little time. We're finally really in the process of getting some things done with that. And to take our bridge on our main street and dress that up and use that as a focal point. We've done that by adding some flags in the summer, some Christmas decorations, some plantings.
Is it a new owner since?
Yes, he's new to the community. In fact, it's a
Any
partnership.
person
One is in the fund
in
and the other
a
is part of the
facilitatory role that the design team played back then, they knew what they were doing. That is, giving everybody the impetus. When you have ideas, put them down on paper. Put them up on the wall, as you see there. They've been mounted up there ever since then. You never lose the vision.
I think that we've seen and heard about some of the results from what you folks have done in other communities. And we hope those same things will happen here. I think everybody knows we need some help.
Essentially, I guess what I'll say first of all about the design team process is it is a grassroots organization, and we do spend a lot of time listening to what the community tells us. I should mention that all design team visits are made up of architects, landscape architects, planners, and other professionals that are selected specifically to meet the needs of individual communities. So the actual team for each visit is different. We stay in the people's houses, as you know, so we'll have breakfast with the host families and then start out in their brand new Knights of Columbus Hall on Main Street at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. We don't come in as a group of professionals that tell them what to do. We come in and we listen to presentations by them. Friday mornings are usually what I call the movers and the shakers, but the sort of the formal leadership. We drive around town, we walk around town. In an hour and 15 minutes, we'll be able to see quite a bit by bus. We walk around town to gain more insight into the town's history and to learn more about the vision ahead.
After the winter.
We really want to listen to what the community has to say so that we can give them back the best possible product.
I think the kids really touched on something, just the general housekeeping of the street, and that won't do it itself because it needs to be used.
We'd like to do some visiting with the students. The school in Waverly is 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. And it might be a matter of the students making presentations to us of what they think their town would be like. At our work session Friday afternoon, we'll be determining what sorts of questions we want to ask them. Those questions are up to the team. We decide that as a team per the information that we've gotten on Friday. I look at the Friday night meeting as sort of the key aspect of the weekend. We're going to break up into groups. And again, depending on the turnout, we'll get probably 2 design team members per table. And 8 to 10 people, whatever, sitting at a table. We'll start again where we left off Friday, kind of reviewing what happened at Friday's meeting, reviewing what we saw on the tour, reviewing what we got Friday morning, and starting to think of what we're going to make of it. Hopefully by late morning we'll be divided into some sort of groups, depending on what the issues are in the community. And then we'll just start drawing madly.
This is fun.
Waverly's a small community. There's a map in your book, and then you can see up there, it's 690 people with a lake right adjacent to the downtown.
A new subdivision up here and another one over between the two lakes, but there isn't a great deal of activity.
I think Waverly is really ripe for this type of process. There was a lot of us around here that were feeling frustrated, feeling that we needed to get some things done around the town, that we had the potential for getting things done, but how do you get started? Where do you start?
They don't come in with a concrete plan of this is the way I would do it if it was my city. They're, inquisitive, and they're asking questions about, what the people around here really want.
And somebody else will read your answers. We're going to hold a mirror up to the community. We ourselves are not involved in telling you what to do. We're just gathering a sense of what you think you need to do, and then we're going to give you some ideas on possibly how you can go about doing that.
And so we felt that the design team would be something that would help us with getting a process started, starting to prioritize what we wanted to get accomplished and get us going.
When I was a teenager, Waverly was the place to go. The dances, everybody I know in life, I think I've met at Waverly, And I played baseball here. We've done everything around this area. Everybody had an elevator, and everybody had a feed mill and a creamery. We could be the same thing if we worked at it, and hopefully the design team is going to do that for you.
People feel that they have something to say about what's going to happen in the future, and that's really important. Gets their hearts into it.
I represent today the senior citizens of the area. Would like to see growth, both residential and commercial. Some new businesses and some assistance to existing business so they can survive. Offer more choice of things for teenagers to do: biking, skating, hiking, perhaps even a teen center.
What do you do in the summertime?
I usually go biking as much as I can on the roads, but now they're paving them on the shoulders so I can go biking more. But that's another reason why I wanted a bike path. There's this path you can walk down and go to the other part of Waverly Lake, and you walk down this path and it's all full of cans.
Yeah, it used to be so nice and you could see a whole bunch of stuff around it, but now you can hardly because it's so filled up with garbage and stuff.
This would be a project that was called out of our meetings with the kids at the schools. We see this as an opportunity for the kids to have a recreational corridor that they can call their own.
The roads in the wildlife management area, are they gravel?
Where are we here now?
Waverly's right here.
Yeah, we're trying to find a nice, quiet gravel road.
Well, these are all quiet.
For biking?
This one,
okay.
This one here.
This one?
Yeah.
That's
the way we'll send them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
There's not a way to get across here. What's
No,
this? Is that the old Highway 12 again?
I'll bet it is. Yeah, I'll bet it loops down. See right here? It comes up and then angles down to the...
Is that an old gravel road, that one?
I don't know if that, no, I don't think that road is there.
That's got to be 12. Old highway.
gravel.
Old
Old
12.
Old 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the fresh perspective is really nice. Yesterday I talked about Kerrigan Lake. We were out on the bus tour. I said, well, Kerrigan Lake is non-recreational. That was what I dedicated to the Kerrigan Lake, and they have a lot of neat plans for out there. Possible park and a walkway around it. It's really cool.
Okay, well, what I'm working on now is the trail system through the city. Up here we have the trail system that's connecting everything regionally, and now we're looking closer in to sort of like a secondary system of circulation through the city on bicycle or on by walking, and we're obviously taking advantage of the lake.
And that begins to tie this residential area maybe across to Kerrigan Lake. Maybe Kerrigan Lake has a nature center and a boardwalk that goes around it. It's fairly...
Great idea.
You have a string of lakes that run between Howard Lake and Winstead and Waverly. There's an opportunity here to tie together in this recreational network these natural features, these natural bodies of water, and some of the nature habitat that surrounds them. We believe that the old Route 12 that runs between Waverly and Howard Lake would provide an excellent opportunity for a trail that ties the two communities closer together.
You want to think about how your kids and how yourselves are walking and bicycling through this town. It's not just about recreation. The things that you want to link are what you already have occurring in your town. You have the elementary, you have a cemetery, you have your lakes. Also think about the future and what you may locate on your trail system and build it into your trails.
This used to be a booming community. It's unfortunate that everything has moved away.
What about your downtown? What kind of things would you like to see downtown, down on your main street? If you painted the buildings up, what would be inside of them?
Maybe we'd have a little more inside of them than we do now. I don't know.
Clean up the insides too, because most of the insides are just as bad as the outsides.
There's this building between a house and community action that's it's got all these windows broken in it. It's just sitting there doing nothing. Could be used to somebody.
There's a lot of old used to be restaurants that are now just storage. And
I know
I think we should use them for more than just storage.
They should open up that movie theater right next to Pete's grocery store.
And fix
I know they use
videos or other kinds
There
of
was
things.
one to start out with, so I didn't even know there was shut down. That was a long time. Way long time ago.
Now they just, like I said, now they just use it as storage.
Well, so what is the history of this theater? Is it it has such a unique shape to it.
The theater is something, that maybe somebody a little older will have to tell you about, because ever since I can remember, that thing has been closed.
It's very peculiar.
That much older. Oh, I guess. Yeah, Phyllis. Yeah, Bob Zeller would really be the one. You know what? He'd be a good guy to talk about that. Let me get him out here.
Bob?
Yeah, I remember Mike telling me about that. He can tell you stories about when he was a kid. And Bob used to go in that show house quite regular. What did you have to do to get in there?
Well, when that show house started, and I forget what year that was, I think it was Ray Lyman that was the first owner. And us kids used to go in his car, and he'd take us around all these towns around here, and we'd put all these theater bills, on the windshield wiper. And then what he'd do is from Monday through Friday, he would let us go to the movie for free. So if Roy Rogers or Gene Autry was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we saw the movie Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No free popcorn, though.
No, that was extra. Yeah. Right.
And then that was a hardware store for a lot of years. And then in between there, where that building is torn down, that was a meat market. Okay? And that was a Frank Litfin barber shop, where the brick is there. And then right next to that used to be a restaurant. And then I remember when that bowling alley was built by Joe Akins many years ago. And that used to be the hot spot in Waverly for many, many, many years. And next to that used to be a grocery store, Mellon's grocery store.
Yep, Ed Murray.
Yeah.
Ed Murray was the meat man over there for
Yeah.
when I remember it.
And he had Duff Kingcore working for him, and Duff was noted for putting the paper on and leaning against the counter so the scale would go down a little bit more. So he got a little more for meat.
That would be my thought on the perceived value of that building is that it's historic. It certainly is not appropriate location for a farm anymore.
But it's a very unique facility.
It
very
is,
unique building.
Yeah, it would be a shame to see that we talked before. Some of the old historic buildings in town, they're gone, and you can't replace those.
You have to kind of cling to what you have left.
That's right. That's the way I feel about it. Don't want to lose any more.
But even if you can't get there, it's sort of like a nice
There's that
visual
axial
progression.
arrangement.
And then, you have this building on the corner, and, it seems like there's...
This is such a neat building, too.
In order to present this to the group, let's just draw one right on top of the heavier marker. Let's just leave this right here, though. This is key. This is a key corner.
Yeah,
The post office is right behind.
And here you have Knights of Columbus, which is another civic.
This building I was really interested in because I heard a lot of emotion from people that were really sad to see that go, and it was a landmark.
What are you working on here, Frank?
Drawing the old bank building.
That's a historic old building.
Good. I don't know. What I want to do is show how we have it now, kind of, and then maybe do an overlay where we show how we want to change the face on the building. I don't have to get too detailed. I just need to be able to show enough because the people in town pretty much know what the building looks like.
Pretty comfortable with that list? Those are the important, real image kinds of issues. What would you like to have them see that's changed in those 25 years?
They want to see Main Street of Waverly.
Main Streets.
Developments in Waverly. I would put improved in front of Main Street of Waverly.
Put improved in front of
Every building open and something happening.
Nice, neat structures, that's right, that are
improved.
active.
Every building open. Yeah, that'd be different. Open as what?
Hardware, businesses,
Business.
clothing
we
stores.
We need business in this town. We need a daycare desperately.
Daycare?
Yes.
Now we should be able to buy what we need. We should be able to support our local merchants and get what we need here.
And it's not going to work because the business can't function. As they come and they want the hardware store to open up for 3 bolts on Saturday and 1 hose that broke on Sunday.
I know. Ask Jim about that.
You've got the major highway, and then the railroad, and then the community, as to how do you perhaps get a better entrance and linkage across that highway.
There was also a question that if you develop a lot on the south side of 12, whether it's both housing and jobs there, what does that do to, how can you link the two parts of the community together?
You've got sort of a natural gateway that's happening here. You've got the old town hall, and I think the potential on this site for some development with an architecture of some sort that may reflect the architecture across the street and really provide an entryway to the town right off of 12, because we want to keep this side of the road open so that Waverly really has an image to give to the public as you come by on Highway 12.
The question is what happens along this big area
along the railroad tracks. But it's still an introduction to the community. It's your front door. The landscape is rolling fields, wetlands, kind of a prairie-type landscape. And maybe an appropriate aesthetic treatment for that band, that swath along the railroad, would be to try and reestablish some sense of prairie.
First group to tell us what they're doing is the big picture group. And I guess, Michael, could you, and I'll make a list of what you're doing.
Okay. We're going to start out with a statement of community values and guiding principles. And the larger ideas behind the guiding principles have to do with establishing balance in the community, defining Waverly as a place, and making sure that it recognizes what character it has as a place. There are a lot of interests in this community. All of those people really, truly are your community. And it doesn't just stop at the corporate limits. It includes Marysville and Woodland Township. It includes the nearby communities of Montrose and Howard Lake, all the way out to Winstead, Buffalo, all these people who might be considered shareholders for Waverly. The larger ideas behind the guiding principles have to do with establishing balance in the community. As Waverly grows, it should strive for a balance. It shouldn't have to be a bedroom community or an industrial town.
But they didn't want it so large that it no longer was a mother and dad community.
Pizza's a good place. That's the place in town to hear news.
I want a half a pound of sliced bologna.
Okay.
It's nice you go to a place and you know everyone where you can talk to them. You're not a stranger. It's a nice feeling. Come on in.
Okay, well, we'll do our best to keep it like that. Okay.
You want it to be a small town, so you should try and balance those things.
Oh, them are nice bass. Real good. Them are nice. Want me to take one?
And as we go through these next several drawings, what we're trying to balance in many respects is balancing the landscape that surrounds it and the townscape.
Now we're railroading. That's more like it.
You have to recognize that Waverly is a special place, but the place is created by the intersection of the people and the land that they inhabit. And that narrow slice in between is the place. The design team helps community to create good places.
Well, we heard that you're going to get 2 new softball fields, I think, and that would help, wouldn't it? And
Yes.
if you got those there.
I would also like the field to be bigger in baseball so you can hit it farther.
You want to have a good place to live. And so that's what we're trying to help you to do. And recognize that both those, people and land, are going to help to create this place.
So there is one heck of a long way to go. But I'm convinced that though the path might be a bit rocky, you can have it all. Your dream of Waverly at its 150th anniversary is really quite possible.